I moved to London and I started attending climate camp meetings purely because I've been going on to campaign against climate change meetings and I volunteered there, and I found that the people involved in that were a lot older, and so I found with climate camp people were much more my own age. Protests such as the one at Ratcliffe are so important because people say you should use your democratic right to vote and you should use that as your weapon, as your tool for getting changes made. And the fact is that everyone's tried this and it's failed. Our democratic system has failed us. This has been shown time and again. And because climate change is so urgent, we don't have time to wait for the next opportunity to vote for the MP who might perhaps get climate change on the agenda. And so that's why people have chosen to take it into their own hands. Campaigning Against Climate Change were organising the March to the Gate as part of the Great Climate Swoop, which converged on Ratcliffe-on-Soar Power Station in Nottingham. Writing to your MP is direct action. Going on a march is direct action. Plenty of people don't do these things. There is a differentiation between actually trying to go into a power station and committing an illegal act, challenging the law, but it's only by combining all of these actions that you're going to achieve things. It just shows to other people that you don't have to be the Greenpeace elite. You don't have to be a hardcore activist. You can just be Joe Public and say, actually, I want to get my voice heard on climate change. So by doing that action, it not only sort of supports the other activists who are doing more hard stuff by showing them that they're part of something bigger, but it also shows to the general public you don't have to be what the media like to portray as your typical activist. You actually don't have to be like that to get out on the streets and make your voice heard. The march to the gate was really good and we were really pleased with the turnout. All these people are prepared to take this step because they believe in this so much in this campaign. COP15 is the UN climate talks in Copenhagen in December 2009, and it's the opportunity for the UN to come together to come up with a global binding agreement on how we're going to tackle climate change and reduce emissions. So this is the Klima Forum, which is the Alternative People's Summit, which is running all the while the UN talks are going on. We've got our own stall here. Lots of NGOs and campaign groups have stalls here, and there's lots of workshops going on. Really interesting workshops, actually. It's where the real sort of action is happening. Sort of where the important place where we feel we need to be, because it's where the campaign groups are. So it's a real networking opportunity for our campaign. We've also been holding workshops. We had one on the climate emergency campaign.
Now, in the UK now, there is something called the 10 by 10 campaign, which is quite useful because if we were just saying this on our own, everybody would say we were just a bunch of loonies.
Whilst doing these things, you can get very frustrated. I do get very frustrated. You always question, and it's really healthy to question what you're doing and whether it's working, and you have to. There are times when you can't help wondering whether you're having the greatest impact. There were times when I was on the stall, perhaps or doing campaign things, thinking, you know what, is this the right way to go? Is this going to actually have results? And I've been thinking about it a lot
with other people, having those conversations. And it's only through those conversations that you can sort of develop what you're doing. And whether your time you're putting in is getting the most back. Me personally, I don't know that I've got more than a few years left in me campaigning. I find that I can only do it if I put my all into it. And it becomes a 24/7 thing, and it really does take over your life. I make those decisions for it to do that. So I'm going to put my all into it for the next few years. But I'm not prepared to sacrifice my entire life for it.
A platform and a people's assembly such that they can express their opinions about climate change in a way that the whole world will listen.
It's not a war. It's we are pacific. We are non-violent. We just need to be heard. It's our climate. It's our climate too. It's not a business.
Well, we'll go as far as we can, and then we're going to hold our people's assembly wherever we are.
Scenes developing here with the Bella Centre in sight. Demonstrators confronting the police, chanting, "We are peaceful, what are you?" We've seen several trying to scale the fences, being forced back by the police. And news has just reached this crowd that up to 150 people inside the Bella Centre are making their way out to join this protest.
Conference to come and try and join us. They were stopped by the police, massive police barricade. Now, this 200
It was amazing. People's assembly actually happened and delegations walked out, and that was very symbolic and significant that they did that, sort of signifying that there were people inside the talks who weren't happy with how they were going, and they had something in common with the people.
Responded with violence, they stayed calm, they tried to get through, they did all they could to get to us. So they went back to try and get back into the conference centre, and they've been told they're not allowed back into the summit. What they have done now to show what they think of dissent. If you disagree, then you're banned.
It doesn't look good. It just sounds even worse than it possibly we imagined it could be. There was always that glimmer of hope, but that seems to be going from anything good coming out of the actual talks. Everyone worked really well together using non-violent direct action to overcome the police presence and do what we wanted as protesters, which was to hold the People's Assembly. I'm definitely going to carry on next year, and I wasn't sure that after Copenhagen I'd have the energy to do that, but actually I feel more inspired than ever. Being involved with the campaign against climate change has been really useful for me and very insightful. But it's been able to give me this really broad perspective of what's happening in climate campaigning. This is obviously what I want to be doing, and I'm happiest when I'm running around putting energy into this, because at the end of the day, I feel like I have to do something. And I find that when I do give myself some time off, take a break from it for a few weeks, I find it really frustrating and quite demoralising that the people around me, perhaps that I'm spending my free time with, aren't aware of the problems and aren't doing as much as they can for this. It's part of my life, it's part of what I want to be doing with my life. So wherever I'm in the world, I'd like to think that I'm spending some of it, my energy towards making these changes.